The FBI concludes its investigation. Good news for Bubba Wallace. Or is it? Let's talk about it, y'all. Middle America. Well, the FBI has come back with the results of their investigation to the hate crime that happened to brother Bubba Wallace, in which brother walked into his garage and found a noose hanging. And this horrible display of hate and white supremacy resulted in a very beautiful photo op or video op, whatever you want to call it, of all those folks in NASCAR marching along with brother.
Racing is the great equalizer.
In a 500-lap race at Talladega Superspeedway, it was this unforgettable stretch before the green flag dropped.
The entire garage area has rallied around Bubba Wallace
That will likely serve as an enduring image for generations of NASCAR fans.
All in all, we won today. The pre-race deal was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to witness in my life.
An emotional Bubba Wallace, the sport's only black driver, wept on the track as dozens of his fellow drivers and their crews showered him with love and support, pulling his number 43 car to the front of the line after Wallace was the apparent target of a hate crime.
I wanted to show whoever it was that you're not going to take away my smile, and I'm going to keep on going.
The act...
Oh, they're not going to take away his smile, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to keep going. Very emotional. I don't know if you heard the story, but brother walked into his garage, and there, behold, was some noose. Some racist hung up some noose in his garage. This is after, of course, the Confederate flag and all that stuff was banned from NASCAR. You know, the NASCAR stuff. And, you know, you can't fly your Confederate flag anymore at NASCAR and all that because it's obviously an emblem of racism, evil, and oppression. And on top of that, it's a flag that was championed by people who tried to divide and destroy our country, aside from the slavery issue. So NASCAR said you can't fly your Confederate flag anymore. And of course, Bubba was at the, you know, he's apparently the only African American racer in NASCAR. And so when he gets assigned his garage, lo and behold, there's some horrible noose in there. Well, good Lord. What a terrible, terrible situation to be in. The FBI, however, have concluded their investigation. Here's the statement. The FBI has completed its investigation at Talladega Superspeedway and determined that Bubba Wallace was not the target of the hate crime. The FBI report concludes and photographic evidence confirms that the garage door pull rope, fashioned like a noose, had been positioned there since as early as last fall. This was obviously well before the 43 team's arrival and garage assignment. We appreciate the FBI's quick and thorough investigation and are thankful to learn that this was not an intentional racist act against Bubba. We remain steadfast in our commitment to provide a welcoming and inclusive environment for all who love racing. Now, here is a picture that I want you guys to see. These images are all from the garages at Talladega Superspeedway. Image 1 shows rope nooses are affixed to every garage bay door as a pull down. Image 2 shows Bubba's Bay 4 in November 2019. Image 3 is of Bay 4 after the incident. Notice the rope is cut. You'll notice here that this is a white dude, and there's a rope right there, and that's because apparently it's what you use to pull down the garage, right? It's called a rope pull down. Now again, your brother is very ignorant as to NASCAR and how NASCAR works and all the rest of it. But here you can see in this other image, this is car number 21, and you can see behind him there's the noose. Again, you do know that there are other uses for nooses. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. You know there are other uses for nooses other than just hanging black people. You can see here in the fifth one that the same garage, it's garage number 5, between 5 and 4, you'll see that now it's cut as of June 2020. Here's my problem with this entire situation. Are you trying to tell me that this is a very common thing that you see at NASCAR all the time? And apparently this is a very basic thing that happens all over the place. I just showed you 2 pictures of white folks that have nooses in their garage for the pull down of the garage. And that it's used for that reason. And are you trying to tell me that Bubba Wallace, that this man is a professional race car driver and he didn't know the purpose of the hanging noose by the garage door? He didn't know? Is that what you're trying to tell me? He didn't know that? Are you trying to tell me this was the first time he ran into such a noose in his entire career? You mean to tell me this dude is at the professional level of driving and he's never seen one of these before? Do you believe that? I don't believe that. Now, I am a lover of my people. I'm a lover of the movement. I'm a lover of the Black Lives Matter movement. But you know what I love more than my people? And you know what I love more than the Black Lives Matter movement? I love the truth. I don't believe, and you will never convince me to believe, that this brother walked in there and said, oh my God, it's a noose. These people want to hang me. I don't believe that. I believe brother knew exactly what he was doing. And you know what else I believe? I believe those silly people that were, well, let me pull back. Let me say it this way. I believe that a lot of these drivers that did the little walk-up with him, who didn't know all the facts and the details, did it with a clean and a good heart. But I also believe that there are many bad actors at play. Now, I didn't know anything about this brother. I mean, to be honest with you, that doesn't say much because I don't know much about race car driving. I know about Dale Earnhardt, Casey Kane, who is the other guy? Jeff Gordon. And that's pretty much all I know. And Dale Earnhardt has a son, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I think his name is. So I don't know much about NASCAR, but I didn't know who this brother was until this whole situation happened. Did you? Now I don't have a problem with brother being able to get spotlighted because of all the current situation we all find ourselves in. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with though is the following. There were a lot of black men that were hung from nooses. And the idea that somebody would take the suffering of our people and the pain that our people have had to endure on the wrong end of those nooses, the fact that somebody would use that to further their own career is really infuriating to me. And Dave Chappelle made this big laughy, jokey thingy about Jussie Smollett or Jussie Smollett. But you do remember what Jussie said, on top of the fact that these people, these racist, white, MAGA hat-wearing people in the middle of the coldest winter of all time down there in the polar vortex, on top of calling him nigger, do you remember? They also put a noose around his neck, and then he left the noose around his neck until the investigators could show up so they could see him with the noose around his neck. Don't you remember that? And now we've got this dude, which this is something that's apparently commonplace in garages, and I would assume that you've put in thousands of hours in a garage if you get to the professional level that Mr. Wallace has. Now all of a sudden he sees this noose and he hasn't seen this before ever in his life, doesn't know what the purpose is. But the FBI, who I'm assuming also knows nothing about NASCAR, in about 33 seconds could figure out there were no racial connotations around it. They could figure that out in about 5 minutes. Are you trying to tell me that he didn't know that? I think he did know that. That's what I think. I think that he is using the current seats in Laban, the current situation, to make a name for himself and to generate a lot of revenue and income for himself. Now, we're in a capitalist society. I'm not mad at him for making a name for himself. I'm not mad at him for trying to increase his merchandise sales. But ladies and gentlemen, This is sacred stuff now. That's 2 times in less than a year. We've got black people manipulating gullible white people into believing that some horrible racist thing has happened. And they're using the death, destruction, and suffering of black people in the past to get themselves ahead. That is unconscionable. It is disgusting. And when Jussie Smollett did it back in the day, I went after him, and some of you gullible Negroes came after me for going too hard on brother Jussie. When is it going to stop? What happened to brother Floyd was unconscionable. It was evil. What happened to Ahmaud Arbery was unconscionable. It was evil. Both times it was characterized as a lynching, and I think that that is appropriate to call it that. That's not what happened here. And the black community continues to allow evil people who spit in the face of our dead ancestors, past and present, to use them, to use their dead bodies as stepping stones for their own purposes. And we continue to allow them to do it without consequence. And then on top of that, it then cheapens the struggle that we actually find ourselves in. Because now, it was very interesting. I was following, I follow people, Ben Shapiro, I follow leftists, I follow right-wingers, blah, blah, blah. And so Ben Shapiro posts the original story. And so I was watching it and I was looking at the comment section. You know what all those white folks were saying? Now, some of these people were racist as hell. But you know what those white folks were saying? This is another Jussie Smollett situation. That's one of the reasons I did not report on this topic, because even though they're racist and ignorant as hell, they were not dumb. There's a difference between being ignorant, which is lacking in knowledge, and being dumb, which is being lacking in knowledge in spite of having knowledge. These people weren't dumb, and you know what? They were right. So you know what's going to happen? Some little 6th grader is going to find a noose in a bathroom, and it's going to be legitimate and real. And now they get to ignore the plight of that 6th grader because this idiot went and did this. So you guys, let's just keep letting these people get away with it. You know, Dave Chappelle was the only one that actually confronted them on this issue. And he said something very funny. He said that people were upset that the black community wasn't supporting Jussie Smollett. And he said people were misinterpreting our silence, the silence of the black community, particularly black males. And people were saying, oh, maybe it's because he was gay. And Dave Chappelle, in probably one of the most brilliant moments of all time for the last year.
The gay community started accusing African-American community of being homophobic for not supporting him. What they didn't understand is that we were supporting him with our silence. Because we understood that this nigga was clearly lying.
Okay, so Dave Chappelle is the only one that came out as a black voice. It's Dave Chappelle, and then Chris Rock came out and slammed him as well. But other than that, Jussie got a pass, and this fool is going to get a pass as well. I don't believe that brother thought that the FBI was going to get involved. Now, I knew the FBI was going to get involved, but I knew that for a different reason. But this brother did not think the FBI was going to get involved. He thought that they were just going to go, oh my God, this is terrible. ESPN was going to do something. Maybe he gets to go on Good Morning America, cry a little bit. All those white folks are pushing his car down the lane, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that he thought the FBI was going to get involved. And is NASCAR trying to tell me that NASCAR doesn't know that those things are all over the garages as well? They didn't know that either, huh? Nobody knew. Unbelievable stuff. Truly, truly disgusting stuff. I might be overreacting, and I'll tell you something, I promise you right now. Like I said, I'm very busy making other videos in another context. But if it comes out that there's some video or something that proves that some white supremacist did this, I'll go and shoot a video and apologize. But at some point, people need to use the brains that God gave them. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. Let's see if brother gets held accountable at all by anybody other than Candace Owens and the rest of them. If Candace Owens comes out and says anything, she has no credibility with a person like me or most of the black community, or the Hodgkins twins. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that are on our side that are fighting for liberation. When are we going to hold this man accountable? And black people in general accountable? Love your neighbor. Take care of each other. Middle America, we are the media. Till next time, guys.